Hello and welcome to another edition of WWE TV. As previously reported, I would be keeping a close eye on the new WWE 2K15 video game. I did tell you in the last video that I'd done that it wouldn't be released until March 2015, so I do apologise because it has since been announced that the game is due for release on October the 28th in the USA and the 31st in Europe. Obviously, WWE 2K were over at E3 last week, so I kept a close eye on that, and I've taken down some notes from that and various websites on the game. So I've got some notes here. Okay, let's get started. One of the biggest things Visual Concepts are doing for WWE 2K15 is overhauling the commentary. The previous game was blighted by monotone and lifeless calls, which soon became susceptible to obvious repetition. In addressing this, 2K have worked closely with Michael Cole and Jerry Lawler, recording 35 hours plus of new lines. Best of all, these lines were mostly recorded with Cole and Lawler in the same room, meaning it all sounds much more natural. Previous titles in comparison had far less hours of lines, and commentators always put their recordings down separately. No word on the involvement of Raw co-commentator John Bradshaw Layfield yet, but we presume that he will be recording somewhere down the line. One clip which has been heard thus far is Cole and Lawler discussing The Undertaker. Polygon.com stated that this sounded very much like the natural banter you'd expect to hear from a live televised event. This is typical of Visual Concepts' reputation, as they are known as the best developer of sports presentations. The site did note that Jerry Lawler on his own, had a tendency to record lines with overacting. And they say, let's be honest, but that's what he sounds like on real-time broadcasting, and I do agree, because I just don't enjoy his commentary or Michael Cole's. In my opinion, the best commentators of all time, at least since I've been watching it, was JR and Paul Heyman. I really enjoyed their commentary together. Okay, also at E3, it was announced that the game will be using the scanning method, where they scan the roster and put them into the game to get them basically into the game and show them to be much more lifelike than previous titles. And they actually have 90% of the roster scanned, which is really good news. So that tells you that the production process is pretty far along. The majority of WWE superstars are going to feature in stunning detail. John Cena is another superstar with the benefit from the body scans. His game character enjoys much better textures. The better lighting and the gameplay help to define his clothing and skin tones. It seems like a small detail, but this trademark jean shorts are noted to look so much more realistic than previous games. That matters to gamers, and it matters to WWE fans. It really does. The more real 2K can make the game, the more we are going to enjoy it. Owen Good at Polygon.com notes that he was shown pictures of John Cena in WWE 2K14 next to pictures of what Cena looks like after his 2K15 scan. Good notes that straight away he noticed Cena had creased and lower eyelids, indicative of the extra detail WWE 2K15 is striving towards. The facial expressions combined with lighting are making for a much more authentic appearance for each WWE superstar. So they really are focusing on realism here, which is fantastic. Best of all, Mark Little confirms that the improved lighting and rendering systems aren't just for the next generation consoles. You'll also get the stunning detail on your purchases of the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 versions of the game. So, as I've said before, the game would only be released on PS4 and Xbox One. He's now confirmed that the game will be on previous consoles, Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. So, good news. I can't see anything here that states whether the game will be any different on the platforms. I'm not going to say yes or no yet, but let's just see what happens down the line as we get more information on this. So we're just a few months away from what promises to be the best looking wrestling game ever made. But I don't want to guarantee you that that's going to be on all platforms, so we'll just wait and see. Visual Concepts is the developer behind 2K's range sports games. They did a masterful job in making NBA 2K14 and made it feel like an accurate representation of basketball, and will be working on WWE 2K15 in a far major way to ensure better gameplay. And I mean, if they're striving towards making it better than what NBA 2K14 looked like, from what I've seen, looked pretty amazing, then we are in for a real treat here. So the biggest goal Visual Concepts have set themselves is to establish a pacing similar to that of a real WWE contest. They want matches to have less of a free-for-all tone, cutting down on button bashing and reflecting the kind of action you would see on Monday Night Raw. The NBA game was praised for its fluidity and player control. That's the goal for the WWE game, to give a sense of core gameplay which reflects actual WWE. Some good points coming out of E3 here, and as I say, some of these other websites are coming up with some great news. So the new game will be much better from what I can see. 2K14 had its fair share of epic animations, but the new game will feature an impressive 5 times the amount of animations compared to any previous wrestling game released. That's going to lead to some visually striking moments of gameplay, and quite frankly, fans can't wait. That's what it says here. I'm quite excited about this now. I don't know about you guys. Leave your comments in the section below and let me know what you think, but it's quite exciting. I only have a PS3. I don't have a PS4. Until I know whether it's going to be any different on any of the platforms, is whether I get the game. If it is going to be better on the PS4, then I shan't be getting the game until I get a PS4. So yeah, let's just wait and see. To improve the animations, basically they've been around to various critics who were scathing over the occasional pop-up and awkward transition animations in the last title, and they say that the improvements are going to be much more noticeable. Explaining the reason why animation quality may not have been up to par in the last release is that 2K executive producer Mark Little told Polygon.com that the short time frames were to blame, and as you remember last year, they had all that trouble in handing over the game rights, etc. to 2K, so they had a lot going on and they sort of had to rush it. This time the deadlines, they don't have any, and there's no deal constraints, so that's great news. The 2K crew have had the trial and error on one release. This time around the kinks should be ironed out, and they should benefit from what should be a much smoother game product, which should appeal to everyone. 2K in some ways have acknowledged the criticism, addressing the issues stated by that 2K15 would be far more polished game. One area they have endeavoured to do this was graphics motion capture, the movement of which WWE superstars has been captured in order to give a far more realistic version of the in-ring action. This goes to the extreme of WWE actually sending in an official ring setter-upper to make everything as it should be for the motion capture being filmed. All this should result in a far more fluid and better looking game. And apparently Chris Hero was brought in to do all this in terms of the motion capture for the wrestling and things like that. So yeah, it says former WWE wrestler Chris Hero released an Instagram, which I'll attach to the video, which shows him filming motion capture for the game. Does this mean that the ex-WWE talent will be featured, or is he just filming movements for the game? More likely the latter. I can't remember seeing Chris Hero at all in NXT or anything like that, and I don't think my friend has either. So yeah, in terms of new legends and wrestlers coming into the game, it was officially announced. The confirmed names at E3 were Bray Wyatt, John Cena, Hulk Hogan and Cesaro. They represented little in the way of a surprise. Cena is WWE's main franchise star. He will be the all-around top-level Mario-type character of 2K's franchise, the go-to guy if you want to dive right into the game and have a run with a solid performer. As for Wyatt and Cesaro, they're two newer talents who WWE have internally marked for with a huge future, and I agree. Hopefully, both of those guys will go to the top. Don't rush it, just take your time, WWE, but please let them go to the top. 2K15 is yet another way to elevate the perceptions of these stars. Hulk Hogan is a featured star. He was also been confirmed for the game, and he's also the most recognised pro wrestler ever. Agreed. So yeah, in terms of new legends, given how much critical praise 2K15 received for its themes, you can bet that 2K are following up with something big for 2K15. However, when asked, 2K declined to comment on what the overall theme will be. That is quite smart, as then they can build up the excitement around perhaps SummerSlam time, when they usually announce these sort of games and the lineup itself, not like they did last year. But they have announced that Sting will be part of the pre-order bonus. So, bringing in Sting, does that lead you to believe that perhaps the theme will be WCW? Who knows? But he has signed a deal to be part of the game, and who knows, we may even see him on our TVs at some point as well. But Sting will be part of the pre-order bonus. So, that raises another question. They previously stated that the story mode would be you creating a wrestler and taking them up through the ranks from NXT all the way up to the main event of WrestleMania, and maybe even the Hall of Fame, which I still really want to see. I know my friend does as well, and it's just cool doing that. So hopefully they still do that, maybe even as well as a WCW storyline. But it's early days. So backed up these reveals with the announcement of Roman Reigns, Daniel Bryan, Naomi, Cameron, AJ Lee in the last few days. Again, these are some smart choices to help you set up the game's sales. Bryan in particular being the most popular superstar right now. You also have the emerging force of Reigns and the WWE Diva champion Paige. Will she be in the game? I don't know, but it says here she most likely will be, as she's the Divas champion at the moment. Naomi and Cameron are filming Total Divas as we speak, and they really have come into their own over the last year, so they'd like to treat them as they should be. They're stars in the WWE Divas division, so they will be in the game too. Good news for Divas fans. So, this is ending up to be quite an interesting game. I'm going to keep an eye on this daily, and I'll bring you updates as much as I can. Please leave your thoughts and opinions of what you think about all these things I brought to light, and I will speak to you all soon, people. Ciao for now.